this, because not only do they have one opportunity for Rygunduz and Dooblakek to make that run back, but another if they ultimately fail. But here we go. Game number 1, Kylar and Dummy, different characters. It's the Bodvar Rayman to kick off game number 1.
Getting that Ragnar out of here, man. And we're seeing Bodvar, the rare Bodvar that we see these days. You know, it was Himwe, and I can't remember who Himwe was playing with when they were getting the double Bodvar back in the day. Don't see it as much anymore. Same thing with like Kaina and Lorez were playing some double Bodvar, or kind of in SAC. There was some Bodvar on that team as well. But no, I love to see some Bodvar. Kylar knows. I've told Kylar this for probably 7, 8 years now. D-Sig, D-Sig, D-Sig on that sword. He knows how to use it.
You are a big proponent of that sword down signature. Kylar Alice not going to be able to utilize it as he's currently sitting with the hammer. Side air onto Rygunduz. Weapon toss fake out, but Dooblakek does take down Dummy. It's going to be a trade out as Kylar gets that stomp side air. Nice GC side sig from Rygunduz.
It's like Rygunduz knew the side air was coming, so he had the spot dodge perfectly queued up for it. The side air on hammer, not a long active frame move, so he was able to get through it with his iframes and still pick up the side signature, all while maintaining safety.
Oh, but Dummy able to clean it up. Dooblakek going to sit on this outside wall, which weirdly enough, like actually not that safe in the 2v1, because Dummy, I think he would be willing to go for those offstage engagements.
He was going for him before. Okay, there's the recovery. Kylar kind of covered a little bit low. Dummy was covering high. Kylar now over on the wall. No major onslaught. They really kind of opt for the 2v1 over onto Dummy, charging that one up for like the minimum charge time to get the full distance on that fist.
No, Dummy going to get launched there alongside Dooblakek, but he comes back wanting to 2v1 Rygunduz for a little bit. Kylar Alice, immediate swap over to Dooblakek, tries to get a follow-up off of Dummy there.
I think even if Kylar picked up that side light, it would have been like the top side of it. I don't know if it would have had enough like suction on it to move him back in a way where Dummy would have been able to follow up. I think it would have just like bounced off the top of it.
Yeah, I really feel like Kylar Alice was just like, I got to hit something.
Yes.
I got to try to follow up with something.
Something is better than nothing in this case.
Okay, nice follow-up there from Dummy. Rygunduz going to get the wall touch, but Kylar Alice with the punish. Oh, can he get the edge guard? Dooblakek. Okay, Rygunduz going to take down Dummy.
Kylar potentially getting juggled here. Oh, actually no major juggle attempts coming out. He does get hit by one of the fists from the down signature of Dummy's gauntlets. Kylar ends up getting sent into the blast zone. It's one stock apiece. Dooblakek, the most damage in this game so far, but he's not too far behind everybody else. Still in the orange.
Yeah, this is very doable on all sides. Oh, Kylar Alice trying to interrupt.
Ends up getting caught by those dangling feet from the D-Light on the spear. Nice D-Light dare. Unfortunately, Dummy wasn't able to follow up. He did make the attempt with the Gauntlet Neutral Light.
Down sick thrown out, but Rygunduz just going to hit everybody away. Ends up being the best protection Dooblakek could ask for. Down light, Kylar Alice backs away, knows that he only caught his teammate. Oh, jumps into the side sig from Dummy.
There's been a lot of those like moments coming out from Dummy and Kylar Alice where they've either like missed follow-ups, done some team damage, attempted to interrupt the other team, and in the process end up getting hit or hitting their own teammate or not getting the interruption, which is not what we saw from Dummy and Kylar Alice earlier. It's like that short break that we took just kind of messed up their timing, messed up their confidence, or messed up their momentum.
It, to me, feels like it's the character swaps. Like,
okay,
you talked about that sword sidelight. If that was an axe in hand, that's a follow-up.
That's
right?
true.
You go sidelight in there, or even with the spear. Sidelight could potentially downlight afterwards. So I think because of that, Kylar Alice he's making the swap. He's going over to the not Brand. Eivor. That's right.
Is it Eivor?
I think it's I don't know. I've heard Eivor before.
Left stick.
Is it Eivor?
It's Eivor.
Eivor?
People act like I don't know what I'm talking about when I'm up here on the desk, when I'm doing the predictions on Twitter.com, and I nail this every time.
Well,
I knew Dara's flight was going to get almost canceled.
Okay.
It was like, it's just 20 minutes. It's just 20 minutes, dude. And I said, it's not going to be 20 minutes. It's going to be more than 20 minutes.
Okay.
I want credit.
Somebody clip that and then put all of his predictions and the correct results.
I came into this weekend really hateful, and I don't know why.
What's going on? Do you talk about it?
No, because I'm enjoying it.
Okay,
it's a fun.
You're fueled up. Okay, game 2 though. Kylar, Alice, and Dummy. Maybe they're fueled up a little bit as again Kylar, Alice making that swap over to the Eivor here for game number 2.
Eivor, we just did this. We just went over this, dude.
Eivor.
But yeah, I think you're exactly right. Swapping over to this legend that Kylar was playing previously, I think the follow-up options are going to be better, even though there, of course, is the axe overlap. But I mean, it was the same thing when Dummy was playing Ragnar as well, and they didn't seem to have too much trouble with it then in terms of, like, same move DI.
But Kylar, Alice going to get launched on the left side. Dummy actually side airs back to the stage there. I thought for sure he was going to swing towards Dooblakek. Rygunduz. Dummy!
Bro. Well, I'm really curious what that neutral air was. I don't know if he was like reaching up being like, oh, this will give me some movement that I can get off of it, and actually because I'm turned away with the nair, I'm actually throwing Kylar away from the teammates or the opponents so they can't follow up, and he still has in-air movement economy. I'm very curious. I don't want to chalk that up to a complete misplay, even though I think overall, regardless of what he was thinking, it was probably a misplay, but I think I'm trying to minimize that.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like he was just looking for the upward hit because obviously like Gallens doesn't have that many upward moves so that he could chase dodge away. Ultimately though, ended up losing that stock. Rygunduz still sitting on the first one as Kylar goes to his last one alongside Dummy.
They are struggling. What was I forgot the order. It went back and forth, and then Rygunduz and Dooblakek won game 4 and 5. This is, I'm going to be real, this is not back and forth. This is Dooblakek and Rygunduz completely demolishing Dummy and Kylar, Alice, at least so far in this set.
Yeah, and that is definitely not a good thing for Dummy and Kylar, once again coming from that elimination side of the bracket. Big side air. Could take down Dooblakek, but Rygunduz, he still has 2 more stocks right now.
They did get the KO onto Dooblakek. It was the bottom side of that axe ground pound that Dummy used to send Dooblakek down to that bottom blast zone. Dummy has been throwing out those big fists, and they have not, I feel like they really haven't been working for him. I don't think he's been getting punished for too many of them, but there definitely are some of them, so I think it's a net negative overall. Maybe he needs to go back to the Ragnar.
Oh, Rygunduz with the spear side sig, catches both blue team members. Game 2 goes the way of Rygunduz and Dooblakek. They're 1 game away from being crowned the champions of Australians Autumn Champion.
I think we swap off the Rayman for sure. Clearly it's not working. You gave it 1 game, and then we're like, okay, maybe we figured it out and we'll get it this next game. Now that you have 2 that have just been essentially like flushed, you got to swap something completely. I think Kylar did a pretty good job. He didn't do that much more damage, but I think the swap over to Eivor is probably maybe where he should stick compared to the Bodvar. But I think Dummy's just really got to switch it up here.
And who do you think Dummy should switch to?
I think he should switch to Ragnar.
Yeah, I know. I really wanted you to say that.
You and I are in agreement on Ragnar and 2s.
I just wanted you to say that you want Dummy to switch to Ragnar and 2s.
I do.
Okay.
I 100% believe that because that was the better choice than the Rayman. I was excited for the Rayman. I think Rayman is, in a vacuum, a better choice.
Yeah.
But for Dummy here,
the Ragnar
is the better choice.
Much.
And he is swapping it up.
Okay, so we're going back to the Eivor and Ragnar combo for game number 3. No swaps on Rygunduz and Dooblakek's side. They've been looking solid. No need to make any swaps. Really, like the thing that's like really catching me off is the thing that I think is catching a lot of people is Rygunduz is like GC side zigs in very odd spots that people just aren't ready for.
He's really good at that, and not even just the signature usage in terms of like grabbing KOs, but like last game he did 663 damage. When your Hattori is swinging like that, that is scary.
Okay, well, Rygunduz already swinging here in game number 3. Went for a deep ground pound onto Kylar Alice. Kylar ended up getting away from that. You're seeing him play a little bit safer there as he goes to the center stage. Didn't want to keep challenging Rygunduz and maybe even fake that he wanted a 2v1 Dooblakek. Comes on over, gets a nice 2-piece onto Dooblakek.
Okay.
Nice target swapping coming out from Kylar.
Did a good job of splitting up the red team. That gave Dummy plenty of room to pressure Rygunduz over on the left. Meanwhile, Kylar's pressuring Dooblakek on the right. Just in there, no major punishment. They didn't really have any time, but eventually, less than 5 seconds later, they get the KO, grab that stock. Nice lead for Dummy and Kylar.
Yeah, Dummy and Kylar looking much better here as Dooblakek Went for a big read there with that GC down sig. Was hoping both blue team members would end up diving towards him, but ended up not catching anyone on that one.
Yeah, that might have just been expecting the counter punish to come out, and he thinks you're gonna like, oh no, actually I know you're coming up behind me, and I'm gonna use my move. But no, didn't find the KO there, but still in the lead here. Rygunduz and Dooblakek did a pretty good job of evening it up. Rygunduz is like in the beginning to maybe middle stages of orange, not in a bad spot whatsoever.
Oh, Kylar.
Dares coming out against Kylar. You did see the recovery get interrupted, still able to get back. Now Dummy's recovery was interrupted as well, but he was on the main platform, not a big deal.
Kylar Alice a little too close to Dooblakek there, couldn't find the punish button. Nsig not going to connect for either blue team member. Another recovery. Rygunduz could go down. Okay, Rygunduz going to be on that final stock here. Blue team looking solid.
They were able to both get back on the main platform. I was a little bit worried because they were both stuck over on that left side wall, but they were able to make it back. I think it was only because one member of the red team was alive and the other one was spawning back in, so you didn't want to force the 1v2 in that moment when you didn't have to while your teammate's coming back in. Ooh, Dummy's still surviving.
Gets back down, but they're both at that percentage where they're going to get launched and leave the other person in a dangerous spot for those 1v2s. Rygunduz with the Sair from behind. Dooblakek gonna fall to the ground pound from Kylar. Dummy can't touch, and neither can Kylar. Everybody on their final stocks.
They are still in a better lead, though, than they were when we entered into our second stocks. Now Rygunduz is middle towards the ending stages of orange. Before, it was the beginning to middle stages of orange. So the lead is still a little bit bigger than it was when we entered second stock. We'll see if they can hold on to that lead. 2 spears on the field, 1 lance, 1 set of guitars.
Good dodge from Kylar Alice. Turns that situation around against Dooblakek. Dummy, though, taking a lot of damage. Kylar comes in. Nsig, he's close, but Rygunduz manages to dodge away. Dummy gets put to the outside. Everybody with a weapon now. Nsig thrown out. Soft punish. Nice. Kylar comes in with a Sair. Neutral light, but it's interrupted from Dummy.
Still finds the side air. Weapon toss goes down.
Ground
Oh,
pound!
it's both of them. Gets 1 stock.
What a commit from Kylar. Went for the 1v2, and he'll get one of them for his troubles. Dooblakek taking some damage, but he's not taken out. Dummy with the Sair. Kylar Alice and Dummy on the board.
And that one was a nail biter. Both members of Kylar Alice and Dummy were so much in the red. That blue team was just barely holding on towards the end. That ground pound from Kylar was amazing. Let's see if we get it. It's going to be right here. Boom. It's both of them. That's the 360-degree hitbox of that ground pound on Act. Kind of rotates around you like a force field. Did a great job placing that.
Looking at the damage dealt, red team actually put out slightly more damage collectively. Dummy coming in with the least damage. Not too bad, 482 damage, and of course they're the team that won, so can't fault them too much on that.
Man, 621 was what I believe Kylar Alice took.
Yar.
That's crazy. That is 207 on average per stock. And because he technically wasn't taken out of the game, there was still room to go on that.
Yeah, he was taking damage. At times it looked scary because
Yes.
obviously like you're sitting on a stock at 207 health, but also he still wasn't getting taken out. Now we're going into game number 4. Kylar, Alice, and Dummy going to try to do more of the same, but Dooblakek starting this off, catching both blue team members with his lance.
Kylar taking a little bit of punishment so far in this game. He was the last person to grab a weapon in the very beginning. I believe first 2 weapons went to the red team. Okay, Dooblakek also getting sent far over to the edge. The blue team not able to put out any major edge guards. Rygunduz doing a great job relieving that pressure there.
Kylar Alice is swinging, ends up hitting Dummy. Nice big side air coming out from Dooblakek off the setup from Rygunduz. Dummy misses the Sair. Neutral Sig will take one. Dooblakek tries to make it a trade. Can he do it? No, he's got to worry about Kylar Alice from behind, but he gets them both instead.
D-Sig coming out. Dooblakek really hasn't been using that too much, too successfully, at least in this set. It was in one of the previous sets that we saw, I believe, in the winners finals, where it was like towards the end as well, where we really saw it. There was an attempt for an edge guard, serious edge guard coming out there, but everybody gets back to the main platform. Dooblakek most damaged, but also still on first stock, so he's still in a great spot.
Left side, though, Dummy wants this edge guard onto Rygunduz. Dooblakek completely locked in onto Kylar Alice, but Dummy gonna get the edge guard onto Rygunduz. Set up into the end,
Nice.
Sig. Nice
Great
lead
pickup.
for the blue team.
Kylar gonna strip that field, keep the weapon spawn away from Rygunduz at least for a little while. Even strips the next one coming out as well. Rygunduz finally able to grab a weapon. It is gonna be a sword, but that's gonna be a full team wipe on the blue team. All of a sudden, Dooblakek is in an amazing spot here on second stock, hardly touched, everybody else on final.
Yeah, blue team really going to have to clutch up here. Once again, tournament point. Red team can close this one out and be crowned the champions. They've got the stock advantage. Rygunduz with the double. Dummy comes over with the Sair. Kylar Alice eats two for his troubles. They want to take down Rygunduz. You can see the blue team hunting.
I don't know if Dooblakek's dodge was burned, but over when they were on the left side, I was halfway expecting a GC side signature to come out like he's thrown those out before. Rygunduz was really hoping to take Dummy off the top, completely take him out of the game, and he does it there.
Dude, Rygunduz, I'm pretty sure that was a triple downlight, utilizing the soft platform for more. Ensig, and that'll do it. Rygunduz and Dooblakek are going to be your Australian doubles autumn champions.
Or spring, if we're doing it from the point
Australia.
of view of Australia.
Yeah.
We'd want to do it from their point of view as well, because they are the players. They were the ones who put in the work this game. And they did, dude. They really did put in a lot of work this game. Look, the sharing of the responsibilities between the two of them. Like we were talking about previously, like the 600 and whatever damage that Rygunduz had